So here we have a fairly typical traversal of an array list. Here we're traversing an array list of integer objects called numList, and we're going to search numList for an int called key. If numList contains key, we're going to remove that element from numList. Then we're going to add that element to a new array list called return list, which will then be returned at the end of the method. They've given us an example here, so this is a perfect opportunity for us to trace through what's happening with this method by using the example that they give us. So they're telling us key is 5, and we're going to traverse this entire array looking for any number which can be divided by key. I mean, this piece of code here is how you say the number is divisible by key. So you can see here numbers divisible by 5 are 5, 10, and 20. So when we get done running the array, numList should contain only 2 and 16, and the array containing these 3 ints ought to be returned. So why does the method not work as intended? Let's trace through and see. So first of all, well, I is less than numList.size. Well, numList.size is equal to 5. Clearly, this boolean is true, so we enter the while loop. Num is numList.get 0, because we start off with I in position 0. That is 5. Num modulo key is equal to 0. That is true. So I will be removed from numList, and when we remove an element from an array list, it is deleted and all these other elements are moved down one place. So this becomes index position 0, the 2, 10 becomes index position 1, 20 becomes index position 2, and 16 moves to index position 3. Now, the 5 is then added to return list, so return list now just contains the number 5. So this is the contents of return list, and these are now the contents of numList. What then happens is we increment I by 1. I now becomes 1. That means we're going to check this index position right here. Is 10 divisible? Yes, it is. So 10 is divisible by 5, so we would remove 10 from numList, and we would add 10 into return list. So 10 goes here, and at the same time 10 is removed from here. So now the 20 and the 16 both move down. After we move those, the array is resized. I increments up to 2, and we're going to check the second element. Well, at this point, you can see exactly what the problem is. 20 is divisible by 5, and it ought to be removed from array list and added into numList. That doesn't happen. So the problem here is that when we remove a number from the array, when we remove one of these ints, we ought to decrement so that we're not going to skip any elements. In other words, answer choice E, the method is skipping elements of numList during the traversal.